comment, rate, subscribe. Merch in the description. Check out our Facebook pages. We got marketplaces you can buy and sell stuff on. Alright, so this is my Hatchhyack Janemba mill deck. One copy of the leader. 4 Oceania Shenron, 4 Sen Shenron Negative Energy Explosion, 4 Black Man Sane Splintering Minds, 4 Deadly Defender Goku, 4 Full Mission Accomplished, 4 Finn Cohesion Incarnate, 4 Goku Adventure Begins, 4 4-Star Ball, 4 Power Burst, 4 Whis Cohesion, 4 Dirty Burst, 4 Photon Wave, 4 Janemba Wicked Agent of Destruction, 4 Dark Toa Dark Demon Realm Sciences, and 4 SS4 Broly Prismatic Burst. This is an upgraded version of other Janemba from other mill Hatchhyack deck. Still using, obviously, the Janemba Unison Plus mill combined with Oceanus and Sen Shenron's Spirit Boost ability to make our opponent mill. That's where most of our milling can come from. And then, of course, we still have the Splintering Mind just for burn. Because you always want more than one win con. So obviously mill is one way of winning, burn is another, and just attacking, right? So you have 3 different ways you can go for game, especially with SS4 Broly going tall, because late game you can definitely tall with him. On this deck you will be awakening, that's the idea, right? You'll balance the colors, so because there's blue in here obviously, to make sure that you can awaken. So first 3 energy you're going to charge is black, and then after that you'll charge blue. You're only going to really need 2 blue because Dirty Burst requires 2 blue if you're going to use the counterplay part. Photon Wave requires 2 blue minimum, and Janemba requires 2 blue minimum. Other than that, Dirty Burst and Whis will only cost at least just 1 blue to play. So this deck is not heavy on the need for a lot of blue energy area. So that's an option. Here's the thing that was brought to my attention, or at least was confirmed, was the idea that the black multicolor cards do not prevent the leader from awakening. So let's look at the awakening effect. If you only have black cards in your energy, apparently, even though for me that wording is only have black, which means there can't be any other color in your energy, but according to some people, it's like, the fact that you do have black in your energy, it would count. It seems a little weird, but it's like, okay, fine. If it works, it works. Great. I also would like it to apply for battle cards, because plain multicolored battle cards would be kind of cool, right? That if it's treated as black, you should still be able to play it, right? So we'll see how that works out. But in other card games, like Magic, for example, that's not the case. If a card has more than one color, the other color does prevent the use of the card because the other color is present. Apparently in here, that's not the issue. Now, the information that I got could be wrong, of course, but for now, just pointing out that the information is there. But we're going to charge 3 black, and then after that, charge at least a minimum of 2 blue. Go from there, right? So, the awakening, our leader, of course, if a battle card attacks, the player who attacked can't attack with tokens or battle cards with 7 costs or less, other than the card they attack for the duration of turn. Anything 8 and higher can attack. And for that type of situation, we have Dirty Burst with its counterplay ability, that if you pay 1 to play it, then pay 1 extra to use it for counterplay, to paying 2 blue, you draw a card, then your opponent can't attack with battle cards with energy cost 7 or higher. Which comes in handy, especially if your opponent's trying to cheat out a whole bunch of like 7 cost and higher battle cards to try to get extra attacks, and we want to keep them with less attacks. We just want to deal with leader swing, unison swing, and at least 1 battle card swing. We don't want them to get any extra swings, so that's where Dirty Burst comes in. And of course, Dirty Burst is also a counter attack, so you can use it for 1 blue, just negate an attack. Same goes for Whis, Cohesion, pay 1 blue, negate an attack, but it can untap energy, and it can tap any color energy, which is very useful if you have a particular in the deck. But of course, tap a blue, play this, untap the blue, which can help us play multiple copies of Whis in the turn, and a Dirty Burst afterwards. Another trick is if you have two energies and one of them just happens to be blue, you play Whis Creature and negate that attack, right? And then untap the energy, so you still have two energy, and then afterwards be able to play Oceanus. So there's a combo there that we can trigger Oceanus's counterattack ability, where if your opponent attacks with a, when your opponent attacks, period, battle card, unison, whatever, leader, right? They have to mill 4 cards on top of deck, so there's synergy there. Another thing I realized was the fact that I can use the 4-star ball because it is an extra card and it's active battle. So you're not, like, I use it to combo as a word, right? As a combo card, but it's an actual, extra card, right? You're actually playing it, you're playing it for free, and you're using it as active battle, so you're actually playing the card. Since you're playing this and not combo, just actually playing it, this will actually trigger Oceanus. So you can play this, right, combo, quote unquote, right? And then when you drop Oceanus, you will be able to get Oceanus's ability where your opponent has to mill 4 for every card they attack with. So that's something to keep in mind. So for free, you can trigger that. But Whis Cohesion can help you trigger Oceanus and still have the 2 energy you need for her because she costs 2 on your opponent's turn. Power Burst, of course, is another way if because of course you can use this Sparking 5 ability, play it for free, right? By taking a life, play it for free, and then drop her for 2. So even when you only have 2 energy, you can you can negate more than one card, right? Because you can negate one attack with this, negate an attack with her, and then get her plug gate ability. Plus you get her, plus she's a blocker, so you can potentially stop another attack. So same goes for Whis, and of course, any situation we trigger the 4-star ball that can help you. So those cards have synergy with Oceanus. Just pointing that out. Obviously, you can get, with enough energy, you can get a similar result if you play Dirty. So, if you have enough energy, you can obviously play a Oceanus, right? Then play another Oceanus, and then the first one will cause the second one to apply, to trigger, right? Because this doesn't have unique. So for 4 energies, you can play 2 Oceanus and then be able to trigger the second one's ability, and then your opponent would have to play, mill 4 for each time they attack. Plus, you have 2 blockers, so you can potentially stop 2 more attacks. On top of the fact, you already stopped 2 attacks. So keep that in mind. The 2 of them together have synergy. Photon Wave, board wipe, active main, draw a card, which is nice. You don't discard a card to play, you get a card to play, right? So you pay for, draw a card, then choose all of your opponent's battle cards and bounce it to your opponent's hand. So it's a, somewhat of a board wipe. Definitely useful against tokens, get them tokens off, so they can come in handy. I'm mainly thinking of tokens that are blockers, not necessarily have to worry about tokens that are attackers, right? Because the leader takes care of that. But if your opponent has tokens that are blockers, then using this to get rid of them, comes in handy. But this just in general, obviously, it's just a board wipe. I just recently saw this card. I'm like, yeah, this is a blue board wipe, essentially. It's definitely good in this deck. So yeah, must auto include. So there's that. Janemba, of course, will help us mill, the goal is to try to get it out on turn 5, right? Start milling our opponent, because by then, opponent's deck is already going to be low, and then we can start dropping this and just start slowly, not slowly, but like start milling our opponent in the process. And of course, if we, use our Shinron and our Oceanus properly, our opponent's deck should be relatively low. We got Toa to help us take control of our opponent's battle card, plus has the ability to warp a battle card 3 costs or less, so you can take advantage of that. And she gets a marker if a battle card, once per turn, if one of your opponent's battle cards is removed from the battle area by a skill or KO'd, Broly, of course, being Super Saiyan, you know, the more you pay for him, the stronger he gets, because for every mark he gets 5k. So if you pay 4 to play him, you get 4 markers. He's a 30k. A lot of times I'll drop him on turn 2, so I can start dealing damage. You could play him as soon as turn 1 and just like, you know, start getting damage, because the first 2 turns usually is the most important. So that's what I really like about him, because on turn 1 he's 15k. So 15k for 1 energy, just too good. So turn 1, bang, drop him, start swinging, and you know, start applying pressure early game. But typically I like to bring him out as a 2, you know, for 2 energy, have him out as a 20k. A lot of times I like to make him stronger. So like if I have multiple copies, obviously I play one early game to start applying some early game pressure, and then, you know, save one for like late game, or when I really want to, you know, push hard. Obviously with like 6 energy, I can get him. With 6 energy, I can get him up to like 40k. I can get him up to 40k with 6 energy. So 40k essentially, you know, puts him up there with ultimate. So it's pretty ultimate in that regard, right? Then he has the -1 ability where let you choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost greater than their current energy and send it to warp. So this helps you out with anything that's, you know, 8 costs or higher, right? You know, that kind of stuff. Because, you know, Dirty Burst preventing them from the 8, you know, 7 costs and higher from attack. It's one thing. Letting your opponent keep it is another. So Broly can help you get rid of them in that regard. So keep that in mind. Sometimes I admit I do forget that I have this ability sometimes. I know some of my gameplay shows that I could have used this but didn't use it. And it's because sometimes I forget. I just focus on the second ability it has. It's the auto, which is -7. Not -7, what I'm saying. -X. And then when auto, when your leader card is attacked, you may have it gain 5k power for the battle for each mark you remove from this card. So it's an auto, not active battle. So sometimes I've made that mistake thinking it was active battle, so I would try to use it in a response. And it's like, oh no, it's an auto, gotta do it. If I don't negate, I gotta use it as, you know, right there and then before my opponent combos. So there's that, so keep that in mind. Other than that, really good card. So just make sure you use it wisely, because it will serve you well. Goku Adventure begins with a 4-star ball, you know, that engine, so we can just, you know, essentially combo for free essentially every turn. So we're not giving up any of our good resources, you know, like good cards. Like we don't want to combo our negate off, you know, Deadly Defender off. Obviously with Kita, we don't want to, you know, combo off our Quarter Wipe or our burn card. Right? So we just use this, and then of course this could be used for Towa's ability. This could be used for Oceanus' ability. When you play her, so synergy there. Plus it's good against hand control, because, you know, we could just discard the 4-star balls for Great Begins effect and stuff like that, and then just add it back with the Goku Adventure Begins. The more copies of this you have in play, the more balls you can grab. Pun intended. Finn, Cohesion Incarnate, you know, has Deflect. Leader, 15k leader card is black. When this card is played from your hand, your opponent chooses one of their battle cards, and you choose the rest of the battle cards and warp them. So more likely they're going to keep their best battle card when you play this. Of course, you can try to synergize this with, you know, other cards in your deck. Like you can play this, for example, you know, obviously playing for 2 specified black. Keep that in mind. Don't use blue for it, it's just 2 specified black. Play it. The opponent tries to keep their best card. And then if you have the energy for it, you can play this for 4, and then -4, take your opponent's battle card. Of course, swing with her first, because she has a 20k body, and then take your opponent's battle card. So we can use it against them. So for 6 energy, you can do that. So, or if the battle card is low cost, it has a low cost, like, you know, 3 costs or less, then you can just drop her and then just warp it, you know, and bang, clear the board for at least a minimum of 3 energy, right? Broly, of course, you can make him pretty strong, so you drop this for 2 to clear your opponent's, you board and then drop this and then attack. You can get it relatively strong with enough energy. Deadly Defender obviously could potentially absorb 2 attacks for you if you use 4-star ball, or at least try to keep it in play a little bit longer. Full Mission Compass lets you grab any of your black battle cards because they're all 5 costs or less. So this can grab anything. This can grab your pin, so you can use them to board wipe more than once in the game. Deadly Defender, your Mass Sane, your Oceana, so you can use her to negate and block and hopefully get the mill floodgate ability online. To always get back your Adventure Begins if need be. Power Burst, of course, when you play, can get you back your Goku. Adventure Begins. Sparking 5, you can play for free by taking a life. So I'll explain what those cards do. Janemba, you'll definitely want to do its +1 ability the first time, just because you want to make sure it has 3 markers to start off with before you start doing the milling thing. It's up to you what you want to do. If you have the ability to protect them, that's one thing, but if you don't have the ability to protect them, then do the +1 ability just to try to keep them on the field a little bit longer. Have them absorb attacks, so basically you're turning them into a blocker, right? But that's +1 ability, so that we can keep them on the field a little bit longer until you can defend them. Especially if you, for some reason you're tapped out, then you want to do this +1 ability to keep them on the field longer, and then after that, you can start doing this 0 ability to draw a card and make your opponent draw a card, and then he knows the card. So you'll draw a card, and pretty much your opponent will take 2 cards out the deck, so we get them closer to milling themselves out. Just they'll draw for turn. Alright, so they'll draw a card for this effect. They'll mill a card for this effect. So that's 2 cards off the top of the deck already. Their turn, their draw, so that's 3 cards. Then if they swing with the leader and the leader draws, then that's another card. So that's essentially 4 cards a turn. If your opponent draws for their turn, and which they will. So you at least a minimum you'll cause your opponent to take 3 cards off the top of the deck. If they swing the leader, that's just 1 extra, so that's essentially 4 a turn. In that scenario, but at least a minimum of 3 a turn, just with this Unison's effect. And then Shenron, he's deflect, barrier, blocker, double strike, basically perfect, right? He has the active Bane, active battle ability, the once per turn. Spirit Boost, where you remove a marker from one of your Unisons, and then you switch this card to active mode. And then your opponent places the top card of the deck to the drop, so this can help you mill your opponent 1 card on your turn and 1 card on your opponent's turn, so like every turn you can mill your opponent. So, if 5 turns pass, that's 10 cards right there alone, right? So, there's that. You can attack them twice with its Spirit Boost ability, or you can block with it twice with its Spirit Boost ability. It just depends on how you use them, right? Have them synergized with certain cards. Since this gives itself a marker, you can obviously synergize it with Janemba, do the +1, then use the marker for this, and there, or use Toa, especially if you're killing battle cards with attacks and stuff like that, then she'll get a marker, and you can use a marker for Shenron, so there's that. That's an option. Obviously, if you give Broly a lot of markers, you can obviously move a lot of those markers for Shenron, so there's synergy there. That's the end of the video.